Have you ever felt?
Are you listening? Damn.
Soft hackles. Old school, right? I've been filling a whole box full of them lately, and I've been playing with a couple different methods. So I'm going to kind of demonstrate one of the most simple methods. This is kind of a classic style that I've seen used on many different flies. The person that I saw use it the most is Hans Weilenmann, or Hans, however you say that. Anyway, so I'm just going to tie it. How about that? Really simple pattern. I'm kind of adding a few little elements to it here and there, but by all means, keep it as simple as you want. The key here to this pattern is this hen cape. Let's see if I can get that dialed in here. I think this is just a medium dun. This is a natural color, and this is a Whiting 4B hen cape. And we really like these hen capes because the fibers are so webby on them. So anyway, that's the soft hackle I'll be using. So we'll just get started. This one's going to be just like a grayish muskrat color. So I have red UTC 70 in the spool, or in the bobbin, and I'm just going to dress my hook. The tail on this one could really be anything that you want. You could even leave the tail off of this fly, but since I have it, I'm just going to use some Coq de Leon. This is just off of a light Pardo rooster cape that I have, and I'm going to pluck off about, I don't know, 10 of those. This is a size 12 hook, so you get a healthy little clump about like that. And we'll tie those in roughly the length of the body. And you want that to be right up on the straight part of this hook shank. This is kind of a short shanked hook, so they'll want to kind of bend down a little bit. Anyway, once I'm satisfied with those being right on top of the hook shank, I can take my thread underneath those and just kind of prop those up just a little bit. So that's all we're going to do to tie those in. The next step, we could do a bunch of different body styles here, but I'm actually going to take some dubbing and run some Spanflex through it. This is an olive colored Spanflex. So, a cool way to tie in Spanflex is if you tie it in a little bit longer than you need and just get that locked down, you can pull this piece up and trim it, and it will kind of just suck back down into itself with no bulk. So now when I start wrapping this back, I'm just going to pull it super tight so I don't get any bulk. Wrap all the way back. And then I'm going to build up a little bit of a taper right here. Not extremely critical. And now I'm just going to put some dubbing in. So I'm going to use some muskrat gray snowshoe hare's foot dubbing from Nature Spirit. It's good stuff. So I'm going to taper the dubbing noodle so it's thinner in the back and it kind of gradually tapers to be a little bit thicker. So I'll just wrap this forward. And as you can see, I'm kind of playing with that dubbing to get it to build up a little bit. Just about to there, and if I have excess, I'll just pull that off. And you can see this is a really buggy dubbing. Now on most soft hackles, you would rib that all the way to almost the eye, and that's where your soft hackle is going to go. But we're going to leave a little bit of kind of like a thorax here. So now I'm going to put the rib through it. So I'll pull this super tight when I'm wrapping it through. And you can do this technique with a whole bunch of different flies. I mean, you can You can tie hare's ears like that. It's really easy. Okay, so this is where this hackle technique comes into play here. I'm going to select a hackle, let's see, that is roughly as long as the body. Okay, so I've got the hackle pulled out, and those fibers are roughly as long as the body. Let me get my hand out of the way there. Just like that. The good thing with soft hackles is it's kind of forgiving. I mean, exact hackle size varies quite a bit based on the style of fly you're tying. So I've cleaned the fluff off of this feather. You can see it's a pretty decent sized feather. And I want to tie this in just like this. So that concave is going up. And I'm going to leave just the tiniest amount of stem to play with there. That will help me so that when I start wrapping this, the fibers are facing the correct direction. So I'll wrap that back and I'll tie that down. Now, a lot of the flies that I've seen tied this way, the tiers tie the feather in very first before any of the other fly or any other part of the fly is tied in. And I don't know, it just bugs me that the feather's, right in the way as you're tying in a bunch of other materials. This way, for me, works just as good. Now this is where you can kind of spruce this fly up a little bit. So I'm going to add a little bit of flash. I just have some brown olive ice dub. And I'm going to dub that on there. Just use a little bit. And I'm going to make a thorax out of this. So I'm going to start the thorax at the front of the fly. Don't crowd that eye too much. And then I'm going to wind it back on top of the body dubbing, just like that. So the idea now is I'm going to wrap this feather back through the thorax. I'm going to catch it with my thread and then wrap my thread through the hackle up to the head of the fly. So put on the old trusty hackle pliers. And now as I start turning this feather's already trying to turn the wrong way. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my finger here and I'm going to force those feathers to lay down the way I want them to. For the first probably 2 turns right there at the head. Now you can see those feathers are starting to sweep back, just like a soft hackle should. Now I'm just going to take kind of 1 to 2 wraps. My hackle pliers broke this feather. So I'm going to take maybe 1 to 2 wraps back to the back of this thorax, and now I'm going to catch that feather, so that's tied off now, and wind through this hackle, kind of weaving it a little bit or wiggling it, and now I should be able just to take this and pull it forward, and I rip that stem off. So there's no cut point, there's no rough edge right there where I just cut that hackle off. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to draw all these fibers back and create a neat little head, which is really easy because we didn't tie anything down at the head, right at the end of the fly. And then whip finish. Get the feathers out of your way while you whip finish. And that's it. That's just a real simple standard soft hackle. People ask, well, how do you fish these? So, obviously you can swing them. If there's a mayfly hatch going, a caddis hatch going, you can swing these through the current. But I actually like fishing them in like a European inline rig and add extra weight to my line. I'm not fishing a tournament or a competition, so I can add a little bit of extra weight to my line. There's no rules against that. So anyway, this is just a standard soft hackle. Tie them up, they work. And these 4B capes come in about infinity different colors. Curtis will back that statement up. I'm Cheech, and I work for Fly Fish Food. Go get the stuff there. Bye.
Yeah.